How many of you, sorry, I'm going to start with a question. How many of you, how many of you were in my previous talk? Okay, I'm sorry, the song stuff is going to be repeated because I'm the same person. But I'm going to try to be fast. So, welcome to Seville. Thank you very much for being here. I am Beatriz Macías Gómez Stern. I'm an associate professor from Universidad Pablo de Olavide, the young university in Seville, which is not this one, but another one. We are in a campus out of the town. Well, I was saying before also that you are very lucky that you came in the, I think, the best season and the best week, because we had terrible raining last week. Yeah, like 24 hours raining last week. So I think all the way to Wednesday morning. So you'll be very lucky, not only because of the weather, but because of this weather after the rain. So you're gonna see all the flowers out. It's very, like spring here is very special, very smelly also. I mean, smelling the good sense, you smell azar. So I hope you're gonna enjoy the stay. I'm in love with my city. I was born in Seville, but I was also telling the people who were here before that I'm also, I have Erasmus on my genes, as many people may have told you along these days. I went on an Erasmus 30 years ago. I think I was one of the first generations of people going on Erasmus. I went to Italy, to Pisa. I'm still in touch with the friends I did by that time. So it's something that stays in your life forever. After that, I've been also in other research stages because I did a PhD and I'm a scholar now. But I think what has made a stronger impact in my either personal and professional life has been internationalization and the human side of it. So it's not only about learning skills, but it's also about the values that you get. I was listening to the previous speaker who was talking about diversity and impairment. I think when you move from place to place, you get out of your common sense ground, and you get more sensitive to see other kinds of diversity. So I aim you to keep being in this network and to keep doing mobilities. That's it. I had to say it. So, so what I'm going to present now is another, I presented before, a project into the, this project is called the Butterfly Project, and it's also in the line of the key two actions. Erasmus mobility, students mobility, is under the K1 action, but there are other many actions, and K2 is an action for strategic partnerships. So it's about putting together different entities like NGOs, local authorities, city halls, regional governments, businesses, any entities getting together for the sake of producing some products for achieving a goal. Okay, so this is not about mobility, even though we move because we have to do meetings and we do visits about the issue we're going to be working about, but it's more about having people with different worldviews and professional profiles and professional views working together to pursue specific objectives. So the objectives for the Butterfly project, in this case, and here you have the webpage of the project. You can search for it. The project has been run. It started last fall, so it started last I think October. It's gonna last for 3 years. Sorry, I also was saying that this kind of projects, I think it resonates a lot with the values that if you were yesterday in the opening session, they were talking about democracy, they were talking about identity. I think these projects, not only individual mobility, but these projects also achieve and enact these values. okay, these kind of projects. I'm gonna show you how they are, or how this specific one is. So the Butterfly project is about inclusion, participation, and well-being of children with special needs or from vulnerable contexts. I was also going to start by telling you, has any of you been to Polígono Sur in Seville in these days? Have you been? You live in Seville. You know Polígono Sur. So I've been working in Polígono Sur since I was a student. I was there in an internship, then I was there as a volunteer, and now I'm there working in service learning with my students. I'm sending my students to educational centers there. Polígono Sur is a more deprived area in Seville. Most people in Seville have never been there, It's one of the most impoverished areas in Europe. I think it's the most impoverished area in Europe, and it's here in Seville. And most people in Seville will never be there. There are so many values in Polígono Sur. If you search for Polígono Sur online, there is a lot of energy, artistic energy. There are incredible educational projects. There are incredible professionals, but it keeps being because an isolated place and a place where we don't get to know. So these kind of children are the children we are working for. This is a project to help the transition of children in early education from 0 to 6, those children who are in different kinds of vulnerable situations. Could be because they have any physical impairment, okay, or intellectual impairment, but could also be because they are grown in situations of poverty, extreme poverty, or because their families are migrating, so they are moving from place to place, or because they are part of an ethnic minority, because they are in a single parent family. So those children, the research has shown that those children don't have the same access, have more difficulties to access 0-6 education. It's incredible. I was also in a research project some years ago, and it's difficult to understand that nowadays in Europe there are challenges for accessing children education, but it is a fact that these families have more difficulties for access in this educational period. In most countries is voluntary. Sometimes it's bureaucratic problems, sometimes it's problems about information, people don't have the information, sometimes is that it's so expensive that families cannot afford it. So this project tries to get information from the families themselves, from the professionals who work with them themselves, and from the universities who do research on that, from a culturally sensitive position, because sometimes the challenges are not only related to bureaucracy or access, but also to values on how to raise children in different communities in that very, very sensitive stage, which is 0-6. So in this project, we're gonna try to help this transition. And the partners, we're gonna be different partners. Each of us is gonna provide a different voice on this, or a different set of experiences on this. These are the partners. We come from 3 different countries. The leading partner is the VIA University College in Denmark, in Aarhus. There is also an entity which is some ECC entities, institutions belonging to a commune, to the city hall. And then in Spain, the leading partner is Universidad Palau la Vida, so it's me and the team working with me, and 2 educational centers from Polígono Sur. So this is a preschool and primary school center. This is a 0-6 years old early education center. And in Romania, we also have a university. This is an NGO, and this is all the way around. One of them is an NGO, the other one is an early education center. So we're gonna get the information from let's say, from the basement. We're not gonna be doing research from our universitarians' perspective, but from the basements. We're gonna have the teachers, the children, the parents' views on this. We are trying to work on a model. That's why it's called the Butterfly Project. And the model is a model that tries to have a view on these transitions from home to the school, because this 0-6 is the first stage where children go to an academic context, where they leave the home context. So to understand that transition and to help these children make that transition, we are building a model. The model tries to be holistic, so looking at the child's life from many points of view, from the points of view of their learning processes, from the point of view of their development, their skills, physical development, but also from a social point of view, from the point of view of the family where they are in, the community they are in, the practices they do in their everyday life, their parents' jobs. So it's also from the point of view of the peers' relationships they have. It's going to be a holistic point of view. Inclusive, looking at all different circumstances that the children can live. Child-centered, this is very important. We're going to consider the child as an agent. Even though they are so little, we're going to consider them as they're going to have their own voice in the project. Taking, of course, always the human rights perspective. So taking that into account, we're going to try to build a curriculum for staff development and a toolkit. So the last product we're going to have is going to be a curriculum to train people to work with these children, okay? And it's going to be informed by professionals, peers, children themselves, parents, families, and local communities, like the ones in Polígono Sur we are working with. This is the framework. So we are doing a needs analysis, okay? We proposed this because we did a need analysis when we saw that it seems that ECC institutions will have a shortage of well-qualified workforce, especially in situations of children from vulnerable situations. These children do not have the same access, as I said before. It's quantified that these children do not have full access to early child education institutions. And there is another data which is important, that there is a direct correlation. So there is between participating in early child education institutions and academic successful trajectories. It would sound strange because that stage, educational goals are not so academic. They are more related to attachment and they are more related to security. Me as a psychologist, I know that. But the thing is that these children need to go in this kind of education more than maybe other children, because that's a way of providing them with some, or helping them getting out of the circle of stigma in some way. So there is scientific proof that going to early education is one predictor of better academic trajectory. So this is also very important for social change, for social mobility, to have people, to help people coming from lower social classes move up in the social ladder. So these are the impact, where we want to have impact on the children. Obviously, they are the main people we want to have impact on academics and policymakers, and on local and national level policymakers. The target groups are young children within the local community, management and staff, students from the 3 universities participating in a national and international level. The objectives, the main objectives, are supporting the children, okay, in this transition, using the butterfly model, and which consists on a toolkit with at least 5 tools to design and implement an European level and online learning program That's the main product, an online learning program to train staff to work with these children. And to identify new, flexible, and culturally sensibly, which is very important, types of ECEC arrangements institutions. So we are not thinking only of the prototype early education institution, but we are thinking of a wide and culturally sensibly arrangements for early education as institutions. It's got, usually these projects are organized in working packages. I don't think this is so relevant. We had already some meetings in Aarhus. We're gonna have the next one in Bucharest. This is one picture in a visit. In the meetings, we go visiting early education institutions. So this is a picture from one of the visits that we did to a early education institution in Denmark in our first meeting. These are the teachers, no, this is me. These are the teachers from the Polígono Sur institution. So it's very enriching also for these teachers from Polígono Sur to see the methodologies, the tools that they use also in Denmark and in Romania. So it's also an exchange experience as it is for you, also for professionals. These are some of the children in Denmark, and this is a team. This is a team in the butterfly project in the first meeting that we had in Aarhus, Denmark last December. Thank you very much. I'm open to questions. Yeah.
Is there any possibility we can get familiar to it like an online?
Yeah, there is a web page that you can. That's the web page. Or if you want, if you give me an email, I can send it to you. It's well, you come afterwards and you give it to me. It's we are starting the project, so there is not so much information now because we only had one meeting. So for example, now during the month of April, we're gonna do focus groups with parents and with the professionals in the different early education institutions. So the universities are in charge of organizing the focus groups as a way of gathering data, qualitative data, and the schools are in charge of well, organizing the parents, asking the parents to come. So it is really, the parents who come are gonna be people who are gonna want to be saying something. We are also doing participant observation, and at the end of this year, we're gonna produce national reports. So this is starting now. So you won't find many results, but it has a web page. Okay.
I have a question. Are the parents cooperating with you on the project?
Yeah.
With the children, are you having any issues with the parents themselves?
Any issues?
Yes, I'm asking because where I come from in Bulgaria, many parents do not agree to accept that their children may need some kind of help, or that such projects, for example, will help them improve. And from a young age, the kids are kind of forced to be in a normal school. It's not like they're not normal, but no one is paying attention to these kids.
Yeah, this is, for example, most of the children in one of the schools in Seville, in Polígono Sur, 99% of the children in one of the schools I've been working with for 20 years, they come from a Roma ethnic background. And it's not only about Roma, this is a very marginalized area. There are many Roma people who have a normalized life. They are very stigmatized, and most of them don't trust institutions to take care of the children. So that's why we are listening to the parents. And that's why we need the schools as mediators, because these people are there every day with them. So, I mean, we're gonna be talking to parents who take their children to school. We won't have access to those who are not taking them to early education, but we are in areas where they have difficulties. So we think that we're gonna be hearing these parents' needs and complaints. That's the point of the project. That's the point of the project. Not because from an academic point of view, we have done a lot of research and we might know a lot, but then you find out that there are values and you find that there are raising practices in different communities that could be challenging that transition. So that's what we want to find about, and it has to be very participatory. It's not about we're gonna listen to you and then we're gonna keep doing our things. We're gonna try to take into account these parents' voices. That's the point of the thing. That's why I say it's culturally sensitive. Yeah, but as we're gonna be doing this with the parents who already have the children there, but who are in areas where they face difficulties. So we're gonna try to find out about the difficulties and try to provide solutions. Yeah. Mm.
I would like to ask you, you said you will make a curriculum from that, and that curriculum will be used somewhere, for example, to teaching all the future teachers, for example, at universities?
Yeah, the curriculum will be online, and it's gonna be open in the web page of the project. We're gonna pilot the curriculum in all 3 different countries, and it's gonna be available for. I mean, it's not gonna be a university course. It's gonna be a training course, but university could use it if they want to. So it's gonna be a training course with a given number of hours, with its own certification, like a micro credential or something like that. So it's not gonna be a degree curriculum, but it could be recognized depending on the university's system of recognition. I forgot to say, I said before, I'm now the Vice Dean for Internationalization in my faculty, the Faculty of Social Sciences in Pablo de la Vide, and this project also is part of the projects we are running there in the Faculty of Social Sciences. And I remember that because, I know there are ways of making these extra degree curriculums to be recognized as credits at the university. So potentially it could be done, okay? But it's not gonna be a degree. It's gonna be an online training course. Mm-hmm.
Is it also applicable for primary school children, or it's only for daytime?
It is, it is specialized and concentrated on 0-6 because that's where the first transition happens. And this is very much going from home to another environment, or home community to another environment. And also because, as I said, there is a correlation between being in that stage academic successful trajectories. But I think most of the results, and I think a primary education school teacher could could take the course and could make generalizations and get benefits. So it's concentrated on that stage, but I could tell that probably, I don't think a primary education teacher, I think that he or she would also take lessons and could also learn from that. Yeah. Indeed, one of the partners is a preschool and primary education. So the partner in Polígono Sur, they take children from 3 to 12. I'm sure it's going to be useful for them too. Yeah. Oops. That's it. I think that's my time. But if you want to have if you have any questions, just ask me, or later write to me or whatever. Thank you.